What's going on, guys? My name's Alex and welcome to my channel. Today we are in a very special place. We're at the top of Mount Washington on Vancouver Island. Doesn't snow very much in Vancouver Island, but that's why you got to go find snow up on top of the mountain, and that's what we're doing today for a specific reason. I made a video in the summer talking about how one of the Ram's transfer case options, the BW4444, didn't actually truly lock up the front drive shaft. It kind of locks it up on and off whenever the computer feels that it is necessary, but not all the time. So today, we're in the snow, so it's going to be really easy for me to test whether or not this is actually the case and when this is actually the case. So we've just been playing around the snow a little bit, and it's been fun, but what we're really going to do is we're going to get my tow strap and we're going to tie this thing to a tree or a pole, and we are going to see what tires spin when it's in 4x4 auto, 4x4 lock, and 4x4 low. Stay tuned. This is some real world testing that I don't think I've seen on the internet so far. So yeah, hope you guys enjoy. All right, guys, so this is our tree. It looks pretty solid. I'm hoping it's solid. And we're gonna really test out this transfer case. Oh, look at that, perfect length. This is you know, safety third kind of thing. Don't try this at home. All right, guys, we just got the slack out of her. Like I said, safety third. But this tow strap's rated for 30,000 pounds, so I think we should be okay. This tree is not going to budge. But first, we're just going to show you two-wheel drive. I have an open differential, so theoretically, well, most likely, one wheel's going to spin, and we're not going to go absolutely anywhere. So let's do that first. We're going to start in two-wheel drive, but we will turn the traction control off for whatever that does. So I ended up finding out pretty quickly that the ground wasn't frozen yet, and my tires were digging into the gravel and shale rock under the snow pretty good. So unfortunately, I couldn't just let the tires spin freely. I actually had to give the truck some throttle to get the tires to spin. All right, so that was two-wheel drive. Both wheels did spin. What do you know? We've kind of gone down to the gravel, which I'm not too happy about because it's just going to be hard for the wheels just to spin freely, but we'll see what happens. So now I'm going to try the four-wheel drive auto, and we'll see what happens. All right, guys, four-wheel drive auto spins the front drive shaft, but we knew that that's not the problem. The problem is in four-wheel drive lock, is this front drive shaft always locked? We know it's not ever always going to be locked. That's just what the BW4444 transfer case does. But I just wanted to really show you guys that it does come on and off. So we'll see if this test shows us anything. I'm going to see if I can spin the wheels, and we'll see if the front drive shaft cuts off power intermittently when I turn the wheels. Because as my last video, when the computer senses steering input, it actually slightly disengages those clutches that lock that front drive shaft to the rest of the powertrain when there's steering input. So we'll see if we can actually get that to happen here. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm actually going to start with these wheels cranked over all the way, and I'm going to see if there's power transfer to the front drive shaft. Hopefully there is some, but that's what we're here to see. And then, if there is none, I will straighten the wheels out and see if then we get power transfer to the front wheels. It's really too bad I don't have two cameras, because I couldn't show that the rear wheels were actually spinning, so you just have to take my word for it. I think you can see that the truck is kind of torquing up and the rear wheels were spinning, but for the most part, the front axle doesn't move at all. All right, so what we saw there when these wheels were turned is that the front drive shaft was not receiving power 100% of the time. We did see some wheel spin on the other side there, but that was intermittent. And when the front drive shaft is locked to the rest of the powertrain, one of these front wheels always has to spin no matter what. And if it's a locked front differential, both wheels will have to spin 100% of the time unless something is internally broken. So what we see there is either the computer is actually manually unlocking the clutches to bring power to the front drive shaft, or there's actually too much torque in the front drive shaft, or too much torque that the wheels are fighting against, and the clutch is actually slipping and therefore not fully giving power to the front drive shaft 100% of the time. So there we go. And now we're going to see if I straighten these wheels up, if we will have power flow 100% of the time to the front drive shaft. All right, so there you have it. We straightened the wheels back up, and this wheel spun 100% of the time, if not the other one also. So there you go. If your wheels are turned, you're not really going to have too much power coming to the front drive shaft. It is what it is. That's the BW4444 transfer case. So, like I mentioned in my last video, if you are actually going to be going off-roading seriously with your Dodge Ram 1500, really make sure you know what transfer case you have, because there are limitations to the BW4444. And this is not the only situation where the clutches disengage. If you watch the last video I made, there are a couple more situations, but this is the one I thought was the most interesting, because when you're off-roading, you're going to be turning your wheels a lot, most likely, and you want to have power to your front drive shaft all the time if you're off-road, so, or 4x4ing. So not the most scientific test in the world, but I think it's a good real-world test. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, maybe even learned a thing or two. If you did, make sure to leave a thumbs up, really helps me out. And if you like videos like this, off-roading, if you own a Dodge, maybe you can think about subscribing, because I will be making videos every now and again about off-roading, mechanical stuff, and things I find interesting. Anyways, we will see you next time.